All right, welcome everybody to the 2026 FFS NBA Draft Lottery show. Got a great lottery for you guys this year. As we all know, there's three top-tier prospects in the Bonsa, Peterson, and Boozer. I'm going to see who's going to get them. On the left here, I have the lottery odds. I encourage the EC and anyone else that's watching closely to double check my homework here. But yeah, this is what I got. Should be up to date with the pick owners and everything. But I may have, made a mistake here or there. But yes, there was a pick that was traded 2 days ago. The Indiana first-round pick was traded 2 days ago from the Warriors to the Magic. So that's updated. That's currently tied for 19th best odds and a four-way tie there. Cool. Other things to note, the Hornets continuing the rebuild with 5 picks this year, 3 of which are in the top 5. Also worth noting, we have 2 picks with a 3-spot penalty. The Nuggets pick as well as the Rockets pick, or excuse me, the Memphis pick, which is owned by the Rockets. And if I counted correctly, only 11 picks are with their original owners. 19 are owned by other teams. Anyway, assuming my odds are correct, which I believe they are, and I get the go-ahead from Daniel or whoever else is, working, or from the EC is watching, we'll go ahead and get this started here. But, yeah, excited for everybody. I don't have a pick this year, but I didn't make a big board either because I don't have a pick. So, yeah, honestly, my personal knowledge... Minnesota's pick is the penalty? Thank you. Let's check here. Oops. Alright, I will change that asterisk. Cool. So that's Minnesota's own pick that is penalized. And it wouldn't have been you, it would have been Memphis, but like, Casey's literally on the EC, so that should have like tipped me off as to like, okay, maybe I did something wrong here. But yeah, there's always got to be a mistake or two here. But yeah, we're gonna go for it here. Alright, good luck everybody. Alright, submitting. Also worth noting that there are 29 picks because the 30th pick has already been determined. It's the Chicago pick. It's owned by the Knicks. Without further ado, let's get into it here. Pick 29 is the New York Knicks, with the Spurs pick owned by the New York Knicks. And so far, we are 1 for 1. Through one pick, we are perfect. That is the pick with the lowest lottery odds. It had 60 balls. Worth noting that this pick, along with this year's number 30th pick, last year it was traded for the number 12 pick in last draft. So 30 and 29 from this year were traded for 12 last year. I think it ended up being a pretty good deal for the Knicks, or for whoever traded to the Knicks. But anyway, let's move on to pick 28 here. The Orlando Magic. So that pick was in a two-way tie for the 28th best lottery odds. So, again, we're 2 for 2 here. Nobody's moved up or down yet. The Orlando Magic going to be using their own pick at number 28, unless they trade it, as Joey tends to do here. Pick 27 is the Orlando Magic again. All right, that's the first time we've seen some movement here. That's the 20th best lottery odds pre-lottery. That's the Indiana Pacers pick, owned by the Orlando Magic, just for clarification. And yeah, that's moved down 7 spots. And we'll move on here to pick 26. It's the New Orleans Pelicans. They're going to be selecting at 26 with the Brooklyn pick that they own. So the Brooklyn pick owned by the Pelicans. And this pick was traded away from Brooklyn in Keith's first ever trade, #PuffPuffTrade. And it moves down from the 23rd best odds pre-lottery down to pick 26. So just a couple spots there. Which in the grand scheme of things, as we've seen last year, isn't really that big of a deal. We've seen it much worse, and we might see much worse today. Let's move on to pick 25. It's the Warriors pick, owned by the Los Angeles Clippers. So the Clippers will be selecting at pick 25, and that is a huge drop-off. Wow, that is the 10th best odds pre-lottery, moves all the way down to 25. Holy smokes. We're off to a hell of a start here. Massive drop-off for Dylan, unfortunately. Wow. Tough. But let's not harp on it too much longer and move on to pick 24. The Lakers pick, owned by the Blazers. So Corey's going to be selecting at pick 24 with that Lakers pick that he owns. And that had the 24th best odds pre-lottery, so no movement up or down for that pick. Interesting thing to note there is that this pick was traded in a 3-team deal back in December of this past year. So Keith will be selecting at, or excuse me, not Keith. Sorry, I just saw his name in the chat. Or I had his name on my mind. Corey will be selecting at pick 24. But yeah, here's the deal involving this pick. On 6 December of 2025, this was a 3-team deal where the Rockets sent Paul George and this pick. Hold on, am I tripping? I'm tripping balls right now. Nope, wrong pick. Nope, right pick. This was sent to the Trailblazers. Already off to a great start here, but it was sent to the Trailblazers. And then the Rockets basically sent it with Paul George and received Ingram, Brown, Wallace, and a second. So, interesting deal there. Sorry, the 3-team got me caught up here. But anyway, that's enough yapping. Let's move on here to pick 24. Or excuse me, 23. It's going to be the Clippers with their own draft pick. Moving down 5 spots, unfortunately. But not too big of a deal. Moving down from number 18 to 23 there, the Clippers' own picks. That's another Dylan pick. He's going to be selecting at 23 and 25. Moving on to pick 22. It's going to be the Charlotte Hornets selecting at 22 with the Pelicans pick. And that's a drop from 15 to 22, so a 7-spot drop for Nemeth. This pick was traded with a 2025 first for Desmond Bane back in August of 2024, so almost 2 years ago. Here's the trade for you guys. Pelicans traded 2 firsts for Desmond Bane back when Nemeth was blowing it up. He's still blowing it up, but he used to, too. Anyway, moving on to pick 21. It's the Clippers again with that Bucks pick. So the Bucks pick owned by the Clippers is going to be at number 21. Not much to note here. Just it was traded twice throughout its lifetime in August of 2025, as well as where was it? February of 2025. Moving on to pick 20. It's the Sacramento Kings. Going to be using their own pick at pick number 20. Only a drop of 1 spot. But so far we've seen quite a few drops. No big moves up. Well, not yet at least. We still have 4 picks that were in the back 10 that have yet to be revealed. Right now, we're seeing that Rockets pick, the Timberwolves pick, which has been docked 3 spots. Or excuse me, the Memphis pick owned by the Rockets has yet to be revealed. That's moved up quite a bit. The Wolves are moving up. The Magic are moving up with my pick, the Washington pick, and then the Pistons are moving up with that Oklahoma City pick. We'll see how far they get. But yeah, the Kings are going to be selecting at number 20 with their own pick. Pick 19 is going to be the Thunder pick owned by the Detroit Pistons. So I just mentioned them. But yeah, this is going to be moving up from 22 to 19. 3 spots there. And this pick was traded in a very interesting deal. A nice blockbuster for Chet back in the day. Excuse me. Am I tripping? Where is this pick here? Get that trade on the screen for you guys. In February of last year, the Hornets traded Chet Holmgren and a second for Tari Eason and 3 firsts, as well as Simone Fontecchio. So yeah, the 2 firsts and the 3 firsts involved in the deal are all 2026 picks. It was the number 1, the number 2, and the number 22 pre-lottery odds picks, all traded for Chet Holmgren. That's a blockbuster. You can use hindsight to determine whether you think of that trade. But anyway, let's move on to... Oh. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Let's change that to fade. Let's move on to number 18. It's going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves picking at not 18 but 21 due to the 3-spot penalty. So those are two of the aforementioned picks that, oh, it looks like we have a trade to announce that I missed. OKC pick was moved to Detroit for the 27 Detroit first. Interesting. So, oh yes, I think yeah. That's been accounted for because it was just, no, that was not the most recent trade that I put on the screen. It was just, you know, involving Chet. Blockbuster there. But anyway, yeah, the Pistons are going to be selecting that Thunder pick, and then the Timberwolves going to be using their own pick at 21. So 19, 20, and 21. So the Pistons, Kings, and Clippers are all going to be moving up a spot compared to what you see on the screen there. Pick 17 is going to be the Hornets again. So that's their two. Oh, wait a second. That is the number one pre-lottery pick, dropping all the way down to 17. Wow, so that's another massive drop. We've seen two of those already. We've seen number 10 drop to 25, and number 1 drop to 17. Holy smokes. Neiman still has 3 picks available in the top 16, but that's a massive, massive drop for one of his premier assets. And like I said, this pick was traded in that Chet deal, so it was one of the 3 firsts traded in that Chet deal. So it ended up actually working out in a sense for whoever traded it for Chet. And yeah, that was the Magic actually. Joey wins yet again, but anyway, that's the Pistons pick, owned by the Hornets at number 17. Pick 16 is going to be the Rockets pick, or the Rockets are going to be selecting at pick 16 with the Memphis pick. And that is, let's see. Set that. That is the number 27 odds pre-lottery. Moving all the way up to 16, so a nice jump there for Will. Still of note is that the Washington pick has yet to be revealed. That was 25 pre-lottery. That's owned by the Magic, so that's jumped in the top 15 here. We'll see how far it goes. And pick 15 is going to be the Atlanta Hawks, moving up 2 spots from 17 with their own pick. So Tony is going to be selecting at pick number 15. I wonder which Piston he's going to take this year. But anyway, without further ado, we're into the top 14. And make it a bit more suspenseful for you guys here, if it hasn't been already suspenseful. All right, moving on to pick number 14. It's going to be the Houston Rockets at number 14. Selecting at 14 with that Cleveland pick that they own. And that is another big drop, 8 spots from 6 to 14. This pick was traded in a package for SGA back in July of last year, nearly a year ago to the day. On 10 July of last year, the Celtics sent Paul George, Bub Carrington, Jaquez, and 2 first-round picks, one of which was the number 10 pick last year, and the other one is now revealed to be number 14. This was all traded to the Rockets for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last summer. Ends up working out pretty nicely for Evan. And here we'll move on to pick number 13. Oh, shit. Wrong pick number. It's going to be the Phoenix Suns picking at number 13 with their own pick. Nothing to note here. It was never traded. The Suns just held it for their entire time. But that's another drop from 7 to 13. Quite a few of those. We are getting dangerously close to the top 10 here, and there are 2 picks that have moved up significantly. Again, that Washington pick owned by the Magic that I mentioned, as well as the Boston pick owned by the Rockets that's moved up from 16. All right, let's move on here to pick 12. It's going to be the Hornets selecting at pick number 12 with the Miami pick. And that had 300 balls. So that actually moved up a couple spots. That moved up from 14 to 12. And that pick was received in a legendary 5-team deal. I don't have the ticker space to list that on the screen, but what I can do is list what Charlotte traded and received in that deal. It happened on February 11th of last year. Charlotte traded Cam Johnson, Usman Garuba, and Usman Jang for Torrey Craig, Gary Payton, the second, this pick, which is now revealed to be number 12, as well as 3 second-round picks. Nice bit of dealing for Nemeth there. And he gets to move up for once. But worth noting now that he has 2 picks remaining. The number 2 and number 4 pre-lottery picks. Move on here to pick number 11. Oops, wrong number. Number 11 is going to be the Utah Jazz. Selecting with their own pick. Never traded. Just held it for the whole 2 years of its life. At least so far. Maybe I shouldn't jinx it. Maybe they'll trade it at some point during the draft here or in the lead up to the draft. But yeah, Jazz are going to be taking their own pick at number 11. And that moved up from 12 pre-lottery, so basically the same. It was in a 2-way tie for the 12th best lottery odds. Again, Joey moving up big time here with my pick. But we'll see where it lands before I, speak any further. Will again moving up with that Boston pick. Evan moving up with that Toronto pick. And then Will also moving into the top 10 with his own pick. Let's move on to pick number 10. Pick number 10 is going to be the Houston Rockets. Selecting a number 10 with their own draft pick. And boy, do I have a story for you guys. This pick, well, no other pick in this draft was traded more than 4 times. I believe there's only one pick that was traded 4 times. And that is still to be determined, but it's the Raptors pick owned by the Celtics. This pick was traded 8 times throughout its lifespan. And Houston traded it away twice and received it back twice. I went through the history of all of these, and that's not even including of these picks, and that's not even including the vetoed trade either. If we count that, it was traded 9 times. So we'll start off with the vetoed trade. I'm not going to show you everything. We don't have time for all that. But starting off with the vetoed trade here, on August 24th of 2024, 2 years ago, the Rockets sent Peyton Pritchard and a first for Fred VanVleet. That was ultimately vetoed by the league. Eventually, it was successfully traded. About a week later, the Rockets traded it along with another first, along with my 2026 first, and a second-round pick for Jimmy Butler. And then, it goes through a few more trades. It's traded twice, or a week later on September 2nd, it's traded twice in the same day. The Cavs trade it to the Raptors, and then the Raptors flip it to the Blazers. And then the Blazers traded along with Bones Highland for Andrew Nembhard. Then it's traded in a 3-team deal in January of 2025. 3 days later, it's flipped to the Rockets. So that's the Rockets traded back for it. They traded Scoot Henderson for Miles McBride and this pick. The Rockets then traded it away, along with 1 first-round pick and Aaron Wiggins for Mark Williams and some stuff. And then finally, they trade for it again. And they trade back for it in August of last year. They trade it with Boston pick and Zachary Risache for Ja Morant and a second. Excuse me, other way around. They traded Ja Morant and a second for the 2 first plus Risache. So there is the life journey of this Rockets pick. I have never seen any pick traded that many times, especially like the original owner trading back for it twice. But anyway, let's move on here. Let's get into pick number 9. It's going to be the Orlando Magic selecting at number 9. And that is not even the Washington pick. So I didn't even realize, but Orlando had 2 picks in the top 9 here. One of them just got revealed at 9. That's the Portland pick. It moves down from the 8th best odds pre-lottery. This was again traded in the package for Chet, mentioned previously. But yeah, not only that, but they also have my original first-round pick from 25th best lottery odds, has moved all the way up into the top 8. So Joey doing really well for himself this draft. And yeah, that's all I really have to mention for that one. Actually, no. This was traded in a different blockbuster for Chet Holmgren. This was traded in July of 2025, last summer. Jaden McDaniels, 2 first-round picks, one of which was number 5 last year, and 2 seconds for Chet Holmgren. So that's how Joey obtained this pick. Let's move on to the top 8. It's the Charlotte Hornets selecting at number 8 with their own draft pick. So that was number 4 pre-lottery, and that drops to 7. And Nemeth not really having the greatest lottery here, but he's still got 1 pick available that could be making it into that elusive top 3, getting those one of those top tier guys. He's still got the Philadelphia pick. But yeah, this is his own pick. Never been traded, just held it for the past 2 years. And just to recap here, we got left here in the top 7, we got Joey with the Washington pick, Will with the Boston pick, Evan with the Toronto pick, the Rockets with the Dallas pick, and the Knicks, Nuggets, and Hornets all moving up. Worth noting as well that Nuggets pick has a 3-spot penalty. So anyone behind the Nuggets is actually moving up, or anyone 3 spots behind the Nuggets is actually moving up a spot. So there's that. Let's move on to pick number 7. It's the Houston Rockets at number 7, selecting using the Dallas pick. So the Rockets at 7 are going to be using that Dallas pick, and that is jumping up from the 9th best pre-lottery odds up to number 7. So despite his Cleveland pick dropping from 6th, he does still land a pick in that kind of vicinity. He's going to be picking at number 7 here. Moving on to pick number 6. It's the Rockets again, going to be selecting at number 6 with the Boston pick. And that pick finally gets revealed. It's moved up all the way from 16 to 6 here. This pick was traded in the aforementioned Ja Morant deal, where Ja Morant was traded with for Risa Shea and 2 firsts. And that is Will's lottery night finished. He is going to be selecting at picks 6, 7, 10, 14, and 16. Unless he, obviously trades any of these. But we're into the top 5 now. Let's get into it. Who's going to get the top 3? It's the Denver Nuggets selecting at number 5, and just kidding, they're actually selecting at number 8 because of that 3-spot penalty. It's the Denver Nuggets' own pick going to number 5 and dropping down to number 8 because of that penalty. So, as a result here, that means the Rockets, both of the Rockets' top picks move up a spot to 5 and 6, and the Hornets as well move up to 7. So good for them. Also worth noting that we're getting in the top 4 picks. The last remaining possible picks are going to be the Hornets, Knicks, Celtics, and Magic. I still can't believe my pick has moved up this fucking high. That's insane. It had 110 balls, and it's made it into the top 4. And we'll see who the odd one out is here. Going to be getting most likely Caleb Wilson, unless someone is really off the wall with their draft opinions and doesn't want to take Boozer, Peterson, or DeBonsa in the top 3. All right, who is going to be getting number 4? It's the Charlotte Hornets, and that pick drops for them from 2 to 4. That is their night over with here. The Philadelphia pick owned by the Hornets is going to be at number 4 with 850 balls pre-lottery, the second highest odds. Tough night for Nemeth. Unfortunately, not getting into the top 3 with any of his lottery picks, but it just goes to show how insane the new odds are with how much movement there is, and both up and down. And as we're about to see a reveal of a massive upward movement with my 2026 first owned by the Magic. Joey's still in it. Evan's still in it with that Raptors pick, and Grant is in it with his own pick. That is what is remaining. Let's see who is going to be selecting at number 3. It's the New York Knicks selecting at number 3 with their own pick. They move up from 5 to 3. And they are going to be most likely getting the whichever is not selected between Boozer, DeBonsa, and Peterson. And congratulations to Grant for moving up there. But now we are down to the top 2. It's between the Raptors pick owned by the Celtics and the Wizards pick owned by the Magic. Let's see who it is. The number 2 selection. It is the Orlando Magic selecting at number 2 with the Washington Wizards pick, and that means the number 1 pick will go to the Boston Celtics. Congratulations to Evan with the number 1 pick, moving up from the 13th best odds pre-lottery with that Raptors pick. And an arguably even bigger congratulations to Joey, moving up from 25 to 2 with that Washington pick. Massive win for Joey here. That's, I think, the biggest change we have seen both or in either year of the new lottery odds in this league. Last year was pretty crazy, but this year arguably even crazier. Some massive changes. And I assume that this will be the new norm going forward, with every pick in contention, so, for that top spot. Some history on excuse me. Let me just some history on this Celtics pick. The most recent trade it was involved in was on 18 August of 2025, a day in which it was traded twice. The Clippers received this pick from the Spurs and then flipped it to Boston. Excuse me, the Clippers traded this pick to the Spurs, and then the Spurs flipped it to Boston for along with another first for Reed Shepherd. And that pick ends up being number 1 in what many consider to be an excellent draft class. Some would use the term loaded or generational or whatever fucking buzzword you want to use. But yeah, congratulations to the movers up, and condolences to the movers down. Thank you for tuning in here to the 2026 FFS Draft Lottery Show. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate the kind words. But honestly, I'll just hang out here until, everybody's, off doing their own thing. The World Cup game is starting right now. Let's take a look at that. Oops, not soda. Sofa. Sofa's cool. Get that out of the way. Right now we got oh, excuse me, there's a delay. It's been delayed to 1900. It's been delayed an hour. What is this? Ecuador and, not Germany. Ecuador and Mexico. What's up with this delay? But yeah, that's going to be a good game. Excited. World Cup has been really fun this year. Looks like the tweet got deleted. Kickoff delayed after severe weather in the Mexican capital. Thunderstorms in Mexico City. Wow. Never could have guessed. Totally not monsoon season right now. I don't know why that stadium doesn't have a retractable roof, but, gotta preserve the sanctity of the stadium, I guess, the history, because they're playing in the Estadio Azteca, which is, a lot of history in that stadium. Thanks, Joey. I'm sure your opinion is totally not biased by the results of that lottery for you, but yeah. But glad you guys are enjoying it here. See, France and Sweden, that was a domination by France. In case anybody missed it, you can see expected goals 3.1 to 0.66. Not a good game at all for Sweden. Everybody in France played well. Mbappe with 2 goals, and he now is tied with Messi in the Golden Boot race with 6 goals. Messi obviously has a game in hand on him because Argentina hasn't played their knockout round match yet, but that's going to be a crazy Golden Boot race, especially if Holland gets himself in there, because I believe he is up to 5 now. I can check. Yes, he's up to 5 after he scored today. Scored the winner against Côte d'Ivoire, or Ivory Coast. That was a fun game to watch. I watched that at work today. Pretty evenly matched. And of course, the USA is playing tomorrow. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to be going to watch party for that big game against Bosnia. We're pretty heavy favorites, but I think the betting odds have us at like minus 500 or something, which is probably a little too high. I think there's definitely some value in Bosnia, especially if you want an emotional hedge. But I'm not really that big of a sports bettor, especially not for soccer. But yeah, that's going to be tomorrow. These times are all Pacific, by the way. Yeah, also, we got England and DR Congo. I don't imagine that will be particularly close, but you never know. Some of these matchups have been pretty wild. And Belgium-Senegal, that actually should be quite a good one. Belgium has underperformed a bit this year from what I understand. Yeah, if you guys are able to stay up, worth catching this Mexico-Ecuador game. That's going to be a good one. Ecuador did beat Germany in their final group stage game, and that proved to be an indicator of what was to come, as Germany lost yesterday in a shocker against Paraguay. I didn't close it, did I? Yeah. Where did OKC end up? The Thunder didn't have a pick. I assume you're referring to... The Thunder didn't own a pick. If you're referring to the Thunder's, like, 2026 first-round pick, it's owned by the Pistons, and it ended up at 19 here. Yeah. Really regretting trading that pick for Alex Caruso in hindsight, but, you know, Caruso's been a good player for me. I just wish he would get more minutes. He's just a great real-life situation in Oklahoma City, just not a great fantasy situation. The year prior, he had been in Chicago and was starting in, like, it's like a top 60 player or something, just because he was getting, like, a crazy amount of steals. But yeah, Akili, you did move up from 22 to 19, so nice result for you there. And started off so calmly, and then it's completely chaotic. And of course, Joey wasting no time in putting all his picks available on the block. Looks like he wants to move up from 9, interestingly enough. Maybe he has a guy that he likes in that mid to late lottery range. We'll see if he ends up keeping number 2 or taking one of the potential franchise cornerstones. We can take a look at the draft here. Honestly, nothing really stands out to me as like a massive reach or drop or like a particularly bad situation for anybody. Appreciate the shout out, Corey. Obviously, Merez Johnson was a bit of a reach, I guess, but, you know, the new head coach is he's coming from Michigan, so maybe he still likes his guy. Adai Mara is going to be an interesting fit in OKC. I'm not sure what they're going to do with Sorber, the guy who they picked last year recovering from the injury. He might be like the third string center behind Hartenstein and Mara now. We'll see if Mara becomes like a legit Wendy stopper. Yeah. Yeah, that was back when Jay did the lottery. I was like in the call and just like commentating with screaming. I think that was the year that I moved up to like select. It was like the Jalen Suggs or Kate Cunningham draft because I had moved up. And then I remember being like super happy for Joe because he moved up from like the lowest odds to the top 5 or whatever it was. Oh, another name I want to talk about, Alan Graves. Look at this guy. Look at all those green pluses. This guy is going to be nice. He's going to the Raptors, and yeah, they have a bit of a front court logjam. But when have they not had a front court logjam in Toronto? He's a solid player. I like him. Went to same college as Steve Nash. Not that that matters at all, but didn't really play a huge amount of minutes, but very efficient player. Good rebounder, scorer. He used to work on the fouls, but so does everybody at this stage. I think Raptors got a good pick there. LeBaron Phylan, good flyer at 22 for the Sixers. And we'll see if Joey wants to take a bull at number 2 with Caleb Wilson, if he wants to trade out of the top 3 or if he just sticks with the consensus. But yeah, maybe that's who he's trying to trade up for from 9, because if he can get a top 3 guy plus Caleb Wilson, that would, I imagine that'd be the dream for a Bulls fan like him. Anything else interesting happening? I mean, the free agency starts tomorrow. A lot of bullshit's been going on with that too. Obviously Kawhi going to the Raptors. There have been some crazy like trades happening recently. Like, I can't believe how much has happened in the past like week or so in the NBA. Everybody seems on the block. LeBron going to most likely the Warriors, probably the yeah, probably the Warriors, maybe like Cleveland or something. All right, well, I'm gonna end it there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Glad that y'all enjoyed it. We'll see you again next year.